Nobody tells you this, but the richer a woman gets, the less she actually cares about looking rich. That's backwards from everything you've been sold. You think wealth means the bag, the watch, the flex. But women with real money quietly stopped caring about almost all of it and figured out something the rest of us pay for. There's a whole list of things broke people stress over daily that rich women simply deleted from their brain. Once you see this list, you can't unsee it. You'll catch yourself doing half of these. I found 15 things rich women stopped caring about. And number 1 isn't even what you'd expect. Point 1. Looking rich. Everything else makes sense once you understand this first idea. Picture the woman at the party in loud designer everything, telling everyone how much her shoes cost. That's not a rich woman. That's someone auditioning to be rich, performing wealth instead of holding it. Real wealth is quiet. It's the woman in a plain t-shirt who could buy the bar but orders water. Economists call this stealth wealth. The flassier the lifestyle, the more likely it's funded by debt and a prayer. The car says I'm winning. The bank statement quietly says, please don't check my balance, broke. People buy things to impress strangers they'll never see again. Our Ice Age people buy freedom instead. Freedom doesn't have a logo on it. And that leads straight into point 2. Other people's opinions. The imaginary audience watching. Your every move isn't real. They're too busy worrying about their own imaginary crowd. Rich women learned early that you cannot get wealthy and keep everyone comfortable at the same time. The moment you do something different, skip the night out, drive an old paid-off car, someone has an opinion. Imagine carrying a backpack where every opinion you care about is a brick someone hands you. You should buy a house. Brick? Why still driving that? Brick? Most people carry 200 pounds of other people's bricks. Rich women drop the backpack, not out of rudeness, but because the people judging aren't signing their checks. Point 3. Being right in pointless arguments that pay exactly $0 and drain real energy. Broke people fight to the death in comment sections and group chats, winning nothing but feeling slightly less wrong. Rich women treat their attention like it's expensive because every minute defending a point is a minute not spent building. They ask themselves one question that changes everything. Do I want to be right? Or do I want to be free? One person spends the evening writing a 9-paragraph essay to a stranger. The other closes the app and sleeps. 5 years later, guess which one owns property? Winning the argument feels like a win, but costs like a loss. Point 4. Stressing over tiny expenses, like the $4 coffee that gets all the blame. This isn't permission to overspend, it's smarter than that. And broke people obsess over small leaks while ignoring the real hole. They'll drive across town to save $2 on gas, then overpay $300 a month on forgotten subscriptions. Rich women focus on the big 3 instead: housing, transportation, and the cost of borrowing money. Get those 3 right, and honestly, the coffee literally doesn't matter anymore at all. Think of money like a bathtub. Small expenses are drips. Big expenses are the drain wide open. You can mop drips all day, but if the drain's open, the tub never fills. So close the drain first. Point 5. Chasing discounts and sales. That dopamine hit when something's 70% off. Here's the dirty secret. A discount is still spending. You didn't save $50. You spent $80 on something unplanned. Sales are engineered by smart people to trigger fear of missing out. And the clock ticking opens your wallet. Rich women flip the question. Broke people ask, is this a good deal? Rich people ask, do I need this at all? The truest saving isn't 70% off. It's 100% off. The thing she simply didn't buy. Point 6. Trading time for money. The model most of us were taught from day one. Show up, work an hour, get paid for an hour. Repeat until 6 to 5 and exhausted. Rich women stopped buying into that entirely because there's a hard ceiling. You can't sell hours you don't have. If your only income is your time, you're a phone that only charges while it's plugged in. So rich women obsess over one word: leverage. Building things that earn whether they're awake or asleep. A woman who fixes one car gets paid once. A woman who films how to fix it gets paid forever. Same skill, completely different math. That single shift is the entire difference between the 2 paths. Point 7. Owning stuff that loses value the second you touch it. Starting with the brand new car. Drive it off the lot and it loses thousands before the first stoplight. Not an investment, just comfortable money burning. There are 2 kinds of purchases: assets that put money in your pocket, Liabilities that take money out. Most flashy purchases are liabilities wearing a fancy costume, dressed up to look like wealth. Rich women aren't anti-nice things. The difference is timing. Buying toys after the assets already pay for them. A toy bought with leftover money is a reward. A toy bought with borrowed money is a trap. Point 8. Treating their credit score like a personality trait instead of a simple tool. A credit score measures how well you borrow and repay. It's a debt report card, nothing more. You can have an 800 score and be completely broke, or be a millionaire who barely uses credit. Broke people chase the score and take on debt just to build it. Rich women use credit like a tool. They pick it up when useful, put it down when not. They don't worship the hammer. They just build the house. Point 9. Being busy. Somewhere along the way treated as proof of importance. Rich women stopped caring about looking busy and started caring about being effective instead. Busy is answering 90 emails. Effective is the one email that actually closed the deal. Most people fill their day with motion and call it progress. Running hard on a treadmill, going nowhere. Not everything urgent is important, and not everything important feels urgent, which is exactly why it gets skipped. Being busy is easy. Being focused is rare. And that's exactly why focus pays so well. Point 10. Outworking everyone. The old advice that hard work alone gets you there. If hard work alone made people rich, the hardest workers on earth would be billionaires. They're often underpaid instead. Rich women stopped asking how hard am I working and started asking what am I working on. Direction beats effort. Row a boat hard at a wall and you just hit the wall faster. It's digging a hole with a shovel for 10 hours versus spending 1 hour. Learning to drive the excavator. Working hard on the wrong thing is just expensive cardio with nothing real to show for it. Point 11. Collecting contacts nobody actually uses. The old advice to network with everyone. Rich women stopped collecting people and started connecting with a few who actually matter. A phone full of contacts who don't know your name is worth exactly nothing at all. Real relationships aren't about how many people you've met, but how many would actually pick up your call. 5 people who genuinely respect you do more for your life than 5,000 who tapped follow and forgot. Point 12. Looking smart, which is exactly the habit that quietly keeps people dumb. Broke ego says never admit you don't know something. Pretend. Stay confident. Fake it through. Rich women do the opposite, saying, I have no idea. Explain that to me without hesitation. They'd rather feel dumb for 30 seconds than stay dumb forever. Because pretending is an expensive habit. You can't fix a problem you won't admit exists, and you can't learn something you're busy faking. It's like asking for directions. Some drive lost for an hour rather than admit they need help. Rich women pull over, ask, get the answer in 10 seconds, and keep moving forward. Point 13. The retire at 65 timeline handed to almost everyone at birth. School, job, 40 years of grinding. Then retire when your best years are already gone. Rich women looked at that timeline and quietly rejected it, refusing the idea life's best part is the last bite. They stopped designing life around an age and started designing it around a number instead. The real goal is the point where money makes enough money that work becomes optional. That can happen at 6 to 5, or with the right moves. It can happen far earlier than that. Point 14. Doing things the way they've always been done. Just because that's the norm, that's just how it works, has kept more people broke than any recession in history. Normal financially means paycheck to paycheck, and rich women refuse to accept that as the default. Every successful business started with someone asking, why does this cost so much? Why is there a middleman? It's like everyone playing on factory settings, never once opening the menu to see what's adjustable. Rich women open the menu and question whether each rule is real or just a habit. Everyone agreed to. Point 15. Treating their time as cheap. The one habit that secretly controls every other item on this list. Most of us guard money like a dragon and throw away time like it's trash with no second thought. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time, not even with all the wealth on earth. Rich women protect their time like the rarest asset they own because it truly cannot be replaced. They say no to things that don't matter and pay to skip what drains them entirely. Every item on this list is really one lesson. Stop spending your life on things that don't pay you back. Looking rich, winning arguments, chasing sales, staying busy. It's all the same wasted energy in different outfits. That's not just a money trick. That's an entirely different way of living day to day. So there it are, 15 things rich women quietly stopped caring about. And a few probably hit close to home. If even one of these made something click. That's exactly the point of going through this list. The natural next question is what they started caring about instead. Since they replaced these habits with new ones, they didn't just delete old habits. They built a small set of moves that quietly grow wealth on autopilot. That's the real second half of this story. The daily things rich women do that nobody talks about.